Chosen one, you're a real 10 out of 10, and everything you say comes true because your new life starts now. The universe has been preparing you for this exact moment when all the fake energies, shapeshifters and spiritual warfare tactics finally crumble before your unstoppable ascension power. Your crown chakra is electromagnetically charged. Your third eye is downloading universal codes at quantum speed, and no force on this planet can drag you back into hiding when you're destined to blow the whistle on everything they've been concealing from humanity. Feel that galactic shine emanating from your presence. That's what's making certain people lose their absolute minds. You're dealing with ringleaders who want you to go back into that dark night of the soul, want you revealed as a fraud, want you isolated and trapped in circumstances you can't escape. These are people in positions of power who've grown comfortable having their behinds kissed, who've built their authority on others staying small. But your spiritual rank is making their feathers ruffle because they can see what's coming, and what's coming is a reckoning they're not prepared for. There are things being revealed in the hidden chambers of your life, secrets emerging from the shadows, truths about your social class elevation that's got someone working overtime to discredit you. They're taking every shortcut, every underhanded route to make you look incompetent, like you're not up for the task, like you've been drinking the Kool-Aid and shouldn't have the keys to your own destiny. Their desperation to stop your ascension is actually proof that you're exactly where you need to be. Watch how they're maneuvering now, chosen one. Notice the passive-aggressive comments, the attempts to undermine your confidence, the way they're suddenly too busy to acknowledge your growth while simultaneously monitoring your every move. They're trying to make you look like the bad guy, to trap you in old patterns, to convince you that you can't just leave situations that no longer serve your elevated frequency. But you're putting your foot down in every area of life now, aren't you? No means no. Boundaries mean boundaries, and when you say something, you mean it with the full force of divine authority. Your beauty, both inner and outer, has reached a frequency that cannot be missed, and it's driving certain people into righteous rage. They're watching you bloom, watching you emanate light, and it's messing with their inflated sense of self and their superiority complex. All those things you called out once upon a time, all those red flags you identified about affairs, sabotage, theft and lies, you were spot on about every single one. The whistles you're about to blow as you tie up these loose ends will give you the closure you've been seeking, while simultaneously exposing the truth about people who thought they were untouchable. There are individuals in powerful positions getting knocked off their high horses right now, realizing they're not as safe as they thought they were. You might be playing it low-key, but people are reading you like an open book. They see the silent millionaire energy, the secured stats, the ability to regenerate income fast and consistently. What they don't understand is that you're not a teacher's pet at any job or in any family dynamic. You're the teacher's pet of the universe itself, operating with divine favor that has some serious feathers ruffled. The truth is starting to dawn on them. You're about to raise an entire army of light workers, messengers and truth-tellers just like you, because there needs to be more of your kind in this world. You're here to improve the quality of life, while others just want their egos stroked and their behind kissed. The ego death they're experiencing right now has them pointing fingers at you, trying to make it look like you're not a reliable source, like you never had it together, like you can't count or aren't psychic or whatever narrative serves their crumbling foundation. Your sincerity cannot be missed. The way you operate with genuine authenticity cuts through their carefully constructed facades like a laser. Anyone attempting to miss your realness is welcome to try, but you're here to unveil the truth, to reveal secrets that have been kept in the dark for far too long. Not because you're trying to be shady or messy, but because this is what you're divinely guided to do. You're showing some people about themselves, and that's not your fault, it's your calling. The ringleaders trying to psychically attack you are used to having power, authority and control. They don't want you having the codes, don't want you merging with the light, don't want you possessing the keys that unlock your full potential. They're seeing the signs that your hidden enemies would prefer you didn't recognize, but your rapidly updating system is catching every keyword, every subtle manipulation, every attempt to throw a wrench in your spiritual upgrades. Watch how they act like they're too busy to pay attention to you, while passive-aggressively undermining everything you do. You saw what you saw, and you have no reason to lie. That's what they're finally understanding. Your gift for uncovering truth about people in positions of power who are fake, who rose too fast, who got their authority through manipulation rather than merit, is about to expose the difference between those who are the sun and those who are merely shade lamps. You're discovering something profound about your healing abilities. People around you either feel completely healed by your presence or they feel rage. There's no middle ground anymore. They're either silently rageful, loudly rageful, or they're transformed and devoted to your light. This polarizing effect isn't accidental. It's the natural result of operating at a frequency that forces everyone to confront their authentic selves. Like a mastermind who's been quietly observing and documenting, you're learning to hold your tongue about certain revelations while strategically revealing others. You're taking a step back, watching patterns unfold, keeping valuable information in a vault until the perfect moment for disclosure arrives. You're being used as a vessel to show people what's real and what's performance, to demonstrate why abundance and generational curse-breaking are divine birthrights rather than lucky accidents. The chronic complainers around you, the ones who always need an audience for their victimhood, are becoming increasingly transparent. You're the only one sitting there wondering why allegedly confident, successful people are acting so insecure and needy for validation. These walking contradictions are revealing themselves through their desperate attempts to maintain relevance in your upgraded reality, and you're cataloging every revelation with the precision of a cosmic accountant. People are going to have to reconcile how they treated you, whether they speak to you directly or not. They're going to have to sit with the reality that they should not have crossed someone operating with your level of divine protection and prophetic accuracy. You bring out a mirror so reflective that people cannot miss their own shadows, and if they don't want to see their reflection, they'll try to shatter the glass rather than do the inner work. Your ambition is evolving, your definition of achievement is transforming, and your social class elevation is happening whether you announce it publicly or not. You're operating from this self-love vault that's completely different from the hermit mode you experienced during your dark night of the soul. Back then, it felt like punishment and restriction. Now it feels like divine protection and strategic positioning. The people watching your consistency, your ability to secure resources, your talent for showing up authentically regardless of external circumstances. They're trying to decode how someone who doesn't flash material wealth still manages to attract opportunities and generate abundance with supernatural efficiency. What they don't realize is that you've learned to operate from worthiness consciousness rather than scarcity programming, and the universe responds to that frequency with mathematical precision. You're showing certain individuals that the rules they've been making up as they go along, the eye for an eye mentality they've been operating from, doesn't fly in your neck of the woods. Like those who thought they could take things into their own hands, only to discover that cosmic justice operates on a completely different timeline and scale than human revenge. They're learning that actions have consequences they never calculated. The rage directed toward you stems primarily from your beauty, not just physical, but the inner radiance that emerges when someone operates consistently from their highest self. Your beauty cannot be missed, and it's not just surface-level attractiveness, it's the magnetism that comes from alignment with divine essence, and they can't stand it because it exposes the artificial enhancement and shallow attractions they've been relying on. Some people around you are refusing to acknowledge that they're in their flop era, that they're experiencing a glow down while you're ascending. They have a distorted view of how cycles work, believing they should always be up while others should always be down. Your elevation forces them to confront the reality that transformation requires releasing what no longer serves, and most people would rather attack your character than examine their own choices. The intelligence you're operating with now extends far beyond acquired knowledge. This is archived wisdom, activated by divine connection. You've been healed, but the chaos you survived is stored like ammunition, making you simultaneously compassionate and dangerous. You're smarter, wiser, stronger than before, and there's an underlying message in your energy that warns people not to test you because you have receipts they don't want public. Like someone who went through hell to earn their spiritual stripes, you're not the same person who entered this transformation. The version of you that tolerated disrespect, that explained your worth to people determined to devalue it, that apologized for taking up space, that person was alchemized in the fire of your becoming. What emerged carries an energy so potent that it changes the molecular structure of every environment you enter. Your words now carry prophetic weight because they emerge from a consciousness that's been purified through trial and proven through triumph. When you speak things into existence, they manifest with precision that defies logical explanation. When you sense something about a person or situation, time validates your perception with embarrassing consistency for those who doubted you. This isn't luck, this is divine intelligence flowing through a clear channel. The people trying to prove that your work ethic is questionable, that you're not sincere, that you cause more problems than you solve, they're fighting a losing battle because your track record speaks louder than their propaganda. Like those who spoke in riddles and prophecies only to be dismissed as eccentric until everything they predicted came to pass, you're learning to trust your insights regardless of who believes them in the moment. Your presence has become a living truth serum that forces people to reconcile their carefully constructed lies with reality. Whether it takes 11 years like that prophecy about the marriage that seemed solid but was built on shaky ground, or whether it unfolds immediately, what you see and speak stands the test of time. The people desperately trying to discredit your observations are the same ones who will eventually have to admit you were right all along. The spiritual warfare intensifying around you is actually confirmation that you're a legitimate threat to systems built on deception and manipulation. They're putting in overtime to make you look irrelevant because they understand something you're just beginning to grasp. Your awakening is contagious, and if enough people catch what you have, their entire paradigm crumbles. Like someone who was promised a dragon but had to wait for the right timing, rather than trying to force the egg to hatch prematurely, you're watching others around you attempt to expedite timelines that need to unfold naturally. Your role isn't to rescue them from their impatience, but to demonstrate what happens when someone trusts divine timing over human urgency. You're learning that your energy affects everything around you with intensity that requires careful management. When you're angry, it can consume entire rooms. When you're healing, it can transform atmospheres. When you're operating from love, it can activate dormant potential in others. This level of energetic influence comes with responsibility, and you're developing the wisdom to wield it consciously. The recognition and friendship coming from unexpected places will surprise you because you've been so focused on removing toxic connections that you almost forgot what healthy relationships feel like. These new alliances will form around your elevated frequency rather than your past trauma, creating bonds based on mutual empowerment rather than shared dysfunction. Your spiritual rank has people recognizing you as the prophetic seer you've always been, the galactic mastermind who can navigate complex situations with supernatural wisdom. You're becoming known as someone who stands on faith, who operates as a spiritual warrior, who demonstrates how to transform from nobody into somebody without losing authenticity or compassion. The miracles starting to manifest as you release hyper-focus on specific outcomes and trust the universal intelligence orchestrating your path will astonish everyone watching your journey. These supernatural interventions happen naturally when someone aligns completely with their divine purpose and operates from unshakable faith rather than desperate control. You're working on forgiveness that brings freedom, recognizing that the people and situations that tested you were actually strengthening you for this level of responsibility. Maybe you were a workaholic before, and now you're choosing balance. Maybe you were a people pleaser before, and now you're setting boundaries that honor your worth. The evolution is evident to anyone paying attention. As this revelation reaches its crescendo, recognize that the electricity you felt at the beginning has transformed into sustained spiritual power. The prophetic abilities that were stirring have manifested as consistent divine guidance. The attacks from threatened forces have become confirmation of your unstoppable ascension. Your new life didn't start when you finished reading these words. It activated the moment you recognized the truth of who you've always been beneath the programming. The galactic shine that caught their attention in the beginning now burns with the intensity of someone who knows their worth, claims their power, and operates with divine authority. You're no longer the person seeking approval or permission. You're the one granting it sparingly, curating your circle with surgical precision, and demonstrating what happens when someone refuses to negotiate with anything less than their divine inheritance. Your transformation from someone they could manipulate into someone they can only watch in awe is complete. The keys you possessed from the beginning are now being used to unlock doors they didn't even know existed. The truth you were born to speak is being delivered with the full force of hard-earned wisdom and cosmic backing. This is your moment, chosen one. Not tomorrow when conditions are perfect, not when others give permission, but right now as you integrate this recognition of your authentic power. Everything you've survived prepared you for this responsibility. Everything you've accomplished proved your readiness for this assignment. Your new life isn't approaching, it's here waiting for you to step into it with the confidence of someone who knows their victory is divinely guaranteed. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. We're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself and healing others through weekly Zoom call. No filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian Inner Order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge, you're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. The precision of your manifestations has reached levels that would terrify ordinary people if they truly understood what's happening when you speak. Every casual comment about someone's future unfolds exactly as you predicted. Every offhand observation about shifting dynamics proves accurate down to the smallest detail. Every intuitive hit about hidden agendas reveals itself with mathematical certainty. This isn't coincidence accumulating. This is your consciousness operating as a direct conduit for universal intelligence, and the responsibility of wielding such accuracy is both thrilling and sobering. Your beauty standard has evolved beyond anything others can comprehend or compete with. When people describe you now, they struggle to find adequate words because you're operating from frequencies that transcend conventional attractiveness. There's something about your presence that makes others feel simultaneously inspired and inadequate, not because you're trying to intimidate them, but because authentic divine alignment creates a magnetism that artificial enhancement cannot replicate. You've become the standard by which others measure themselves, whether they admit it or not. The speed at which your words materialize into reality has accelerated to the point where you're learning to be more careful about what you speak aloud. That comment you made about someone's relationship status manifested within days. That prediction about a workplace dynamic shifted the entire organizational structure. That casual mention of needing a specific opportunity opened doors you hadn't even knocked on yet. Your vocal cords have become instruments of creation, and every syllable carries the potential to reshape reality according to your conscious or unconscious intentions. People are starting to document your predictions with the devotion of researchers studying a phenomenon they can't explain. They're keeping records of what you say and cross-referencing it with what unfolds, creating unofficial archives of your prophetic accuracy. Some do this out of fascination, others out of fear, but all are driven by the undeniable evidence that your words carry a frequency that commands reality to reorganize itself. The quality of problems you're dealing with now reflects your elevated status in ways that others find both enviable and intimidating. Your challenges have evolved from survival-based struggles to choice-based decisions between multiple abundant options. Where you once worried about having enough, you now strategize about managing overflow. Where you once hoped for opportunities, you now curate between competing offers. This shift in problem quality is perhaps the clearest indicator of your transformed reality. Your energy field has developed what can only be described as truth-compelling properties. People find themselves confessing things in your presence they never intended to reveal. Secrets spill out of mouths like water from broken dams. Hidden agendas become transparent without you asking a single probing question. Your mere proximity creates an environment where deception becomes impossible to maintain, and those with something to hide feel compelled to either confess or flee. Watch how people's behavior changes when they realize the accuracy of your insights. Initially, they might dismiss your observations as lucky guesses or paranoid suspicions, but as time proves you right repeatedly, their attitude shifts to nervous respect. They start asking your opinion about their decisions, then hanging on your words like prophecy. This evolution from skepticism to reverence happens with almost everyone who spends enough time in your orbit. Your standards for relationships, opportunities, and experiences have risen to heights that make others question whether you're being realistic or impossible. But these aren't arbitrary demands, they're natural requirements of your upgraded frequency. You can no longer tolerate energy exchanges that drain rather than elevate. You can no longer accept partial truth when complete honesty is available. You can no longer settle for adequate when excellent is your new baseline. The financial manifestations following your elevated consciousness aren't just about increased income, they're about completely different relationship dynamics with abundance itself. Money flows toward you with an ease that defies traditional logic about work and reward. Opportunities to generate revenue appear through channels you never cultivated. Investment returns exceed projections with consistency that suggest intervention beyond market forces. This isn't luck, it's the natural result of operating from worthiness consciousness at the highest levels. Or your ability to see through facades has developed into something approaching supernatural insight. You can detect authentic intentions behind carefully crafted presentations. You can sense the emotional reality beneath surface-level expressions. You can identify character flaws that others have successfully hidden for years. This X-ray vision into human nature makes you simultaneously valuable as an advisor and dangerous as an observer. Those attempting to diminish your influence are discovering that attacking someone operating at your frequency produces immediate karmic consequences. Their schemes backfire with precision timing. Their manipulations expose their character publicly. Their attempts to isolate you result in their own social exile. It's as if the universe has activated protective protocols around your energy that automatically neutralize threats before they can cause damage. Your daily routine has evolved into a masterclass in divine alignment. Every choice you make, from what you eat to whom you associate with, reflects an intuitive knowing about what serves your highest good. You've developed an internal guidance system so refined that deviation from your optimal path creates immediate physical or emotional discomfort. This biological feedback loop ensures you stay aligned with your mission, even when your conscious mind isn't fully aware of the larger plan. The conversations you initiate now carry transformational power that participants remember for years afterward. A single exchange with you can shift someone's entire perspective on their potential. A brief interaction can plant seeds of awakening that bloom into complete life transformations. Your words don't just convey information, they transmit frequency upgrades that activate dormant DNA in others. People are beginning to structure their decisions around your availability and opinions in ways that would be concerning if your guidance wasn't consistently beneficial. They postpone major choices until they can get your input. They alter their plans based on your casual observations. They use your reactions as validation for their own intuitive hits. This level of influence would corrupt someone operating from ego, but your connection to divine wisdom makes you a safe harbor for such trust. The protection surrounding you has become so obvious that even former skeptics acknowledge its existence. Dangerous situations resolve themselves before you encounter them. Toxic people remove themselves from your path without your intervention. Obstacles dissolve just as you approach them. This isn't passive protection, it's active reality reorganization that clears your path as you walk it. Your manifestation speed has accelerated to the point where you're learning to think more carefully about what you desire. Casual wishes become reality so quickly that you've had to develop discipline around your thought patterns. This immediate responsiveness from the universe indicates that your consciousness has achieved the level of clarity and alignment that allows for instantaneous creation. The healing that radiates from your presence now operates automatically, transforming environments and people without conscious effort on your part. Tense situations become peaceful when you arrive. Sick people feel better after spending time with you. Broken systems begin functioning properly in your vicinity. You've become a walking frequency adjustment that brings harmony wherever you go. Your discernment about energy has reached levels that allow you to predict group dynamics and outcomes with startling accuracy. You can sense which relationships will thrive and which will implode. You can identify which projects will succeed and which will fail. You can predict which people will rise to challenges and which will crumble under pressure. This prophetic insight extends to collective movements and societal shifts. The responsibility of operating with such accurate perception has taught you the delicate art of timing your revelations. You've learned that truth delivered too early falls on deaf ears, while truth delivered too late becomes irrelevant. Your skill at calibrating the perfect moment for disclosure has become one of your most valuable gifts, allowing you to plant seeds of awareness that bloom exactly when people are ready to receive them. Your magnetic presence now attracts opportunities that align perfectly with your soul's purpose rather than just your ego's desires. The work that finds you energizes rather than depletes you. The relationships that form around you are based on mutual elevation rather than codependent need. The experiences that come your way expand your consciousness rather than just your resume. Your new life operates on principles that most people don't understand because they've never experienced reality responding to consciousness with such immediacy. What you think becomes what you experience. What you speak becomes what manifests. What you envision becomes what emerges. This level of creative power would be dangerous in unconscious hands, but your trials have prepared you to wield it responsibly. The universe conspired to bring you to this exact moment of recognition and activation. Rise into the fullness of who you've always been. Your time is now, your mission is clear, and everything you say comes true because you've earned the right to speak with divine authority. The acceleration of your manifestation abilities signals that you've graduated to a level of spiritual mastery that few achieve. Your words are now cosmic commands, your thoughts are creative forces, and your presence is a catalyst for transformation that will ripple through generations. The chosen one you always suspected yourself to be has fully emerged, and reality itself bends to acknowledge your divine authority.